LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't predict the future, but it can help you feel confident about future hires. Because Hiring Pro combines real-time insights and candidate data from the LinkedIn network with the criteria you've set for your role to deliver you a list of top-fit candidates. Businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
Pepsi Prebiotic Cola in original and cherry vanilla. That Pepsi taste you love with no artificial sweeteners and 3 grams of prebiotic fiber. Pepsi Prebiotic Cola. Unbelievably Pepsi.
Well, it's been a quiet week here in Lake Scabagon, my hometown. In today's Second Part Sunday episode, Elizabeth from Pocket Vinyl and the Touring Test joined the conversation to talk more about Pilgrim the Cat's Kickstarter. They also discussed growing up with comics, anniversary traditions, Eric's Taskmaster birthday, and more.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 2. It's episode here of A Pickle Home Companion, and I'm just glad that you all are here with us. It's been a great first episode. The one you listened to on Friday was awesome. And this episode, the Second Part Sunday, we like to call it here in the Pickle universe, is going to be above average for sure. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite beverage. It could be pickle juice if you want, and settle in because Second Part Sunday commences now. Hello, my friend.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Hey, nice sweatshirt.
Thank you. Oh, yes. It looks very familiar, doesn't it? Right. Right. I didn't just wear that because he was on. I wear this daily. So
I love it.
Yeah, it's so comfortable. Oh my word.
Yeah.
And then I have a Jet t-shirt because I love Jet. So I was gonna wear the Pocket Vinyl shirt tonight, and I'm like, that's like wearing the t-shirt of the band that you like to the show,
Which we always approve of.
Yeah, well, okay. Well, then, you know what? I'm going to go change. No. The guys have just stepped out for a second, just as a break, since we've been going for a little bit. But I'm stoked to see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
Oh my gosh! And I don't know where they are in your screen, but Jared, Kevin came to the show at the Telegraph. On Record Store. I think it was Record Store Day.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was Record Store Day.
Yeah. So. And then Jared is in Virginia. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah. So
how long have you guys been doing this podcast?
We have been doing this since August of 2024.
Okay.
We all met just from being in the scene, basically it started from Joe Yerke from Insiders and Reese Roper from Five Iron Friends. He did a podcast called the Joe and Reese's Pickle and Boot Shop.
Okay.
And that's where, and then we started as a companion to that because at one point they were like, hey, if anybody wants to do a podcast, we put it out underneath our umbrella. And
so you're like in their network sort of.
Well, we were, and then we just kind of started as like a companion to that, talking about the episodes, kind of like The Walking Dead did their after show. Talking about the episodes kind of thing.
Sure. I listen to the Office Ladies. They talk about The Office. Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that podcast too. I'm way far behind, but I love it.
Yeah, I'm far behind too, but yeah.
And I'm far behind on the Boy Meets World one too, and I love that one. But so we started that kind of as a companion, just talking about it, and just kind of where we have a diabolical discussion page on Facebook where it's just like a discussion about the podcast, and we all met through that.
Oh, okay.
And then we just started to get on Zoom and we were just talking, and then we realized, wait, let's make this a podcast after they said, hey, we'd love to have a podcast underneath our network. So it's just very organic. And then we just met on Zoom and we're talking, and then we realized, let's make this a thing.
Cool.
And then they stopped doing their podcast. We realized we don't talk about them while they were still doing it, because we brought on like Davey from Bleach and like all these guys that were like all these musicians from our childhood, that we wanted to talk to, or whoever we wanted to talk to.
Did Eric tell you how excited he is that we're going to see Bleach at Audio Feed?
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, he definitely, and he texted me right after that
Oh,
episode and was
yeah.
like, "Wait, you mentioned me, or us, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you mentioned us during." I'm like, "Yeah," and from me telling him, "Oh, by the way, they're going to be an audio feed," he's like, "Oh man, we have to redo this." Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, Eric is I have no experience with Bleach at all. So I was telling Eric he has to show me some of his favorites before we see them.
Oh yeah, you'll love it. They're an energetic live show. They're a lot of fun. Bunch
Fun.
of bunch of old dudes on stage. And it's going to be a lot of great times.
Sweet.
Yeah, so then we saw them. So then we all met, all of us, just to tie it in. Actually,
Mhm.
we met at Furnace Fest
Okay.
down in Alabama, and
Yeah.
like in fact, like you guys were going to be originally down in Alabama, we were going to hang out a
Yeah.
little bit, but so down there is where we all met. Like Kevin, I had
Okay.
already met. Jared, I hadn't met yet, but we all met there, and then so that's where we all met in person, all of us. And then Brock couldn't be here tonight, but we all met there in person at Furnace Fest.
Okay. Sweet.
Yeah,
So it was mostly music and music fests and stuff.
yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
Guys, this is Elizabeth, Jared, Kevin.
Hi,
Hi.
nice to meet you.
Hello.
Nice to meet you too.
Welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with us for sure.
Thanks.
And we're stoked about this digital tour. I was just showing. I mean, Brock has this too. I know there's two as
Yep.
well. But we were talking about this a little bit ago, and I told Eric that I'm on my third, or I just finished my third reread of this, and I'm yeah,
Seriously?
oh for sure.
Aw,
I
that's
really
awesome.
good.
I reread it when I'm like, I need something to like just calm me down and enjoy, and I reread it when that happens. So
I
I
love that.
I'm about to restart it, I'm sure soon. So
And do you have the
That's
DVD
great.
as well, Pete?
I do have the DVD. It's over on the rack. So which is also for you listeners at home, available on YouTube.
It is.
All right. Well, we're here with Elizabeth, the better member of Pocket Vinyl. Sorry, Eric, and we're definitely stoked to have you. I'm going to apologize because Eric and I go back and forth. I'm sorry, Eric. I love you. You're validated. Okay, and but we're really stoked to have you on. We're going to talk about this new project you're working on, the new Kickstarter,
Mhm.
and yeah, stoked to have you here.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you guys wanted to have us on and get some traction going about the Kickstarter. We're really excited for this book that's coming out.
Well, cool.
Yeah, it's the whole series. Like I followed it like right from the start.
Oh,
Just
really?
from following the touring test on Instagram, and then just like once the whole Pilgrim saga started, I've got two cats of my own, and just like just following along. And I was telling Eric, I really appreciated how you had the comic, but then you would always include like a video or a photo. Uh, to kind of go along with it. And I thought that was really cool. And then just
Yeah,
seeing all the comments, like people chiming in, like
yeah.
with pictures of their cats and stuff like that.
hmm Yeah, I was really happy to start doing that, the thing with the photos right away. I didn't usually do that with any of my comics before. I had done one once where I talked about growing sunflowers and how sunflowers are so finicky to grow when you're
Mm.
trying to grow them, but when you just kind of toss them off to the side, they grow like 10 feet tall. And
Hmm.
when I did that comic, I just like shared a picture of the sunflowers that I grew because they were like almost as tall as the house. And I got so much reaction of people being like, oh yes, I'm like people who are gardeners or who've grown stuff before. And so it was from that, but I shared that comic like years ago. And then I was just like taking so many pictures of cats because how can you not?
Right.
And adding them to the comics. And I just wanted people to know like, hey, this isn't just something that I'm making up. Like this is a real cat that showed up at our house and I don't know how this comic is gonna go. Like this is happening in real time for me, the same it is as it is like for you guys reading it.
Yeah. And I thought that was like a really kind of cool aspect to it, like just how close it was to like, the events going on, just to be able to put it out that quick.
Yeah, it was kind of almost like a therapy for me when like we had the struggles with her health issues happening.
Mhm.
Like I was sharing comics that were like a couple weeks behind what was actually happening to her. And I mean, Eric and I had discussions where it's like, what if she doesn't make it? Like
Mhm.
I'm posting these comics online about this cute cat. Like, do we talk about the way the like mortality and like how sometimes pets don't make it or animals don't make it and like how cruel like living out in the wild can be for some of these feral cats? Like, do we talk about that, or we just like stop it and be like, oh well, posted some cat comics and we're done? And I
Right.
don't know, just like for me, being able to share the comics was a little bit of like, okay, it's like I remember that day, like when we brought her to the vet and we didn't know if she was gonna make it. And I was like sharing comics. And it was just something to help me to deal, something to do, because you're just waiting, like you're like
Right.
not exactly in the waiting room, but basically in the waiting room, like pacing around, hoping that she comes out of this surgery okay. And so it's just something to do with my hands was to draw and to like post stuff online.
With the Kickstarter coming out, yeah, if you wanted to share like what some of the tiers that you have would be.
Yeah, we're gonna do just for anybody who doesn't want to get the physical book, we're gonna do an ebook. I think that'll probably be like one of the lowest level things.
Mm.
We're also we I have a lot of international fans, and so we're gonna offer it available for international shipping. But just the way that everything is right now with shipping prices are skyrocketing, I know
Yeah.
some people will probably just want to have the digital copy anyway, so they don't have to pay for the international shipping. So we'll have the book. We're doing when Pilgrim was in the vet, like when she was having the medical issues, I made and sold a sticker sheet. And so,
Mhm.
and that, like, I think I sold like almost 1,000 sticker sheets for her. Like,
That
it
thing
was great.
skyrocketed. Yeah. Mhm.
And so I'm gonna be doing a new one. That's
Oh,
like
cool.
because the first one I did was just like her. So when she gets fixed, she gets the ear tipped, and that's like
Hmm.
a sign for feral cats that a feral cat has been fixed. And so for the new sticker sheet, I'll do all of her with like the tipped ear, so that'll be a new one. Um, as far as like I don't know, I love you said you've read like our graphic novel a couple of times already, Pete. Like
Mhm.
I love physical media. I love being
Oh,
able to read books
for
and like
sure.
especially that whole mentality of like it calms your brain. Like compared to like
Mhm.
looking at stuff on a screen, it's just like it's a nice like take a breather. It's quiet
Yes.
reading. I get migraines, and so like actually reading comics is one
Mhm.
of the few things that I can do when I've got a
Yep.
migraine because it's not a screen, it's not noisy, and it's
Same.
not like small text where like you're kind of straining your eyes. Like you get the pictures, you kind of see what's happening. Yeah, so I'm just excited to have the book available, and then we're doing freebies. We're gonna do stickers and bookmarks that will go along with every book. I think we're gonna do the first 100 backers. Will get like I'll draw in the books, and I'll sign all of the books, and then I'm pretty sure we're gonna do some bundles for like bookstores so they can get like multiples and stuff
Oh,
like that.
cool.
Oh, and then I'm also doing, I totally forgot, I'm doing the original art. So I do all of my drawings on paper with pen, right?
Mm.
Like
Well, I was going to ask that. Like, what is
you
your
can see behind
process of
me.
how
Yeah,
you
that's
do
my
it?
drawing
Yeah,
board right there,
that's really cool.
right? And so like
Yeah.
I do it all on paper.
Hmm.
And so I have all of the comics that I've done, and so we're gonna make a bunch of those available if people want the originals to have at home as well.
Nice.
I know the inspiration of it, but like for me, I'm super interested in like how you decided to like make this a thing. What's your process of making like the daily touring test stuff slash pilgrim stuff.
Yeah, so for this project in particular, like with my touring test comic, so for anyone who doesn't know, I guess like I have a
Yeah,
comic that's the touring test. It's all
yeah.
about being in a touring band, and that's normally what it is. It's Eric and I in a touring band, and then we also have cats, so we're doing the cat thing too.
Hmm.
But those like besides just being slice of life comics, they didn't really have too much of a format. Like sometimes I do a two-panel comic, sometimes I might do an
Right.
eight-panel comic. I was dabbling with getting into color right before I started the Pilgrim saga. Um, but then with the Pilgrim ones, I wanted to do four-panel comics and just do like the kind of the block thing. And I
Yeah.
know Charles Schultz always did like the four-panel comics,
Right.
and then there's a handful of other like classic comic artists who just always do that. And it's almost like in a world where you can do anything, like you could make anything, you can post it online. There's no like real barriers for like
Right.
making comics online. It's kind of fun to have a little bit of a like parameters
Hmm.
on something and to be like, okay, how can I tell a story in four blocks, in four panels? And how can I tell it as like an ongoing story, but each comic can be like its own kind of condensed thing.
Yeah.
So I was giving myself that challenge a little bit. And then I mean, the personality of this cat when she showed up was just so, she was so like cocky. You know, she's just like, she showed up, she like demanded food from us. She's like screaming at us, but then she's like, don't touch her. Like she didn't want you to keep her personal
Yeah.
space. And it was just like, what? Like, I don't know. We have a bunch of feral cats who show up and they will feed them or whatever, but they're not like that. She just had this like strong personality that just made both of us stop and be like, did you see this cat is screaming at me outside? Like, what's her
Yeah.
deal? So yeah, so that was kind of the inspiration of just like a fun reason to challenge myself with the 4 panels. And then she was just such a great subject matter right when I wanted to start doing something like that.
That's cool. Yeah, and Eric was talking about earlier, but how about you, stray cats? Trying to really uh, use the term pilgrim for your stray cat, right? So like, and I was telling him that we have a neighborhood cat. We call him Keyboard because he looks
Oh.
just like the keyboard cat, but he's a stray cat. And I'm like, man, we have to. That he's our neighborhood, our cul-de-sac cat. Like he goes all around. Sometimes he'll be on our porch. Our neighbor next door is I term the main caregiver because she has a heated house for the
Oh, yeah.
cat, and everything else. But sometimes he wants to bask in the sun on our front porch.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm like, man, we gotta just start calling him Pilgrim.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all the pilgrims. Every pilgrim that comes into your yard.
Oh, I love it.
It's kind of like how like all indoor cats, you're supposed to give them like the orange collars because they're a kitty convict. They're supposed to stay inside.
I've never heard that. I didn't know that
Yep.
one.
Yep.
Kevin's our
Lovely.
resident cat expert, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. Yeah. I've got he's like 17. He's arthritic and deaf. His name's
Oh.
Jeff, big orange, like goofball. And then the other one is a product of a barn cat, and I think he's 3 now. Just a
Mhm.
black and white tuxedo cat that's slightly cross-eyed and just a total spaz.
Cute. That's awesome. I don't know if Eric mentioned the Kamal Nanjiani's new stand-up special. Did he talk to you guys about that at all?
No,
Or have you
No.
seen that?
I haven't seen
Highly
it yet, no.
recommend. When you have an old cat, you have to watch it. So you have a 17-year-old cat. He talks about his 16-year-old cat. Just highly recommend. Great bits all about dealing with an old cat.
Oh,
Nice.
man.
Yeah, I definitely have to watch it. I love like his stand-up, and like
Yeah.
he's going to be on the next season of Taskmaster, actually.
I know. We're very
Which is
excited
wild.
for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which
yeah.
I think actually, well, at this point it'll be out because the new season starts April 9th, I believe.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it does?
I believe
exciting.
so.
Oh, wow.
Okay, cool.
All right, I'm gonna mark my calendar for that because I love
Yeah.
it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, we were really excited when we saw that he was going to be on that. He's one of our favorite comedians. And I know he hadn't done stand-up for a while, and this stand-up special is his like first kind of special back into it after doing the movies and stuff.
Okay.
And it's so well done. It's just one of the just storytelling, the whole thing together, the jokes themselves, highly recommend. So good.
I think my favorite thing about Camille is like I think I read it somewhere where his publicist is like, you don't want to do Taskmaster, and he's like, no, I don't think you understand. I want to do Taskmaster, and they're like, you're going to lose money. He goes, I don't think you understand. I want to do Taskmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I love and guys, I don't know if you know this, but we are sitting amongst the winner of Taskmaster
Right.
Eric birthday edition. I absolutely loved that you all did for Eric's birthday Taskmaster.
It was so fun. Oh my goodness, it was such a thrill. It was so fun to do a stage show that wasn't, it felt more like just fun. Because
Yeah.
like the stage show that we typically do is our full-time job. You know,
For
we
sure.
love it and we love doing it and everything. But to do something where it's just like we're not trying to sell people merch. We're not trying to get people to listen to our music. This is just pure fun,
Yeah.
pure joy. It was so great. Eric wants to do it again for his next birthday too. So we'll see how long we can keep doing it
good.
for his birthday
No.
every year.
Annual. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had the pleasure of being able to attend last year or months ago, and it was awesome. It was a lot of fun.
Fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Goodness. So you guys love Taskmaster. What where did you begin with it?
Well, see, that's the funny thing is we love Taskmaster and he did his own Taskmaster show, but we had only been watching it for like a year, maybe
Oh,
not
okay,
even.
sure.
Like we're
Oh,
pretty
okay.
new into it. I think it was the Jason Mantzoukas joining. We're just like, oh, I mean, Jason
So
Mantzoukas
good.
is pure chaos. That's
Yep.
hilarious. That's got to be fun. So we started watching that, and then we've gone back and we've watched almost every season except maybe three.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I only am in it really from a lot of the clips. So it's
Mhm.
like, and I've watched a couple full episodes, but I just love the concept behind it. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a show every night, well, except for Tuesdays, because I'm down here podcasting. My son and I will actually watch an episode of Taskmaster like before bed. So
Mhm.
like, right around like 9:30, 10 o'clock, like he'll come out and we'll just pop on an episode and watch it. So I
Yeah.
think we started, I think 3 or 4 series ago, and then once we finish up, the current series, then we'll go back to whatever the oldest one is that we haven't
Sure, yeah.
seen, and we're working our way through. I think we're up to 13, I think is where we're at now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we watched like I want to say the most recent couple of I forgot series, not seasons, but
Mhm.
the most recent couple of those, and then we went all the way back and started from the beginning. And so there's like a small chunk in the middle. I think like between 10 and 14 we haven't watched yet or something like that.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the chunk that like we're working on right now too
Mhm.
that we haven't seen.
It's a great jump in show. That's what I like about it too, is like you can watch a
Yeah.
single episode or you can watch a single
Okay.
task and like you don't have to really know anything about what's going on. And that's a fun. And I think that's why we typically will go to it when you just don't want your brain to work too. It's like I want to watch
Right.
something that's
Sure.
entertaining, but not boring, like
Mhm.
but not challenging. It's just like I want to watch something fun.
For sure.
A
Yeah.
break. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. And my favorite ones are the ones where someone will complete the task, but do it in a way that's totally outside the box. Like,
Oh yeah.
not like technically you're following the rules, but you're like way
Hmm.
over here following. Like, those are my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes we'll even pause it and just be like, all right, what will we do?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Well, all that to say, I'm stoked that you're going to continue that on, and we'll
Yeah.
bring that up for next season or
Yeah.
for next birthday season.
Yeah.
His
Yeah.
next series birthday.
Yeah. Right.
No, I'm curious about what made comics a medium that you wanted to make.
Sure, yeah. So I grew up with my dad always having Calvin and Hobbes comics in the house. That was like one of his favorite comics. And I literally
Same.
learned how to read with Calvin and Hobbes. Like
Mhm.
Oh,
I
perfect.
kind of like recently realized that I'm a little bit dyslexic and I was a pretty slow reader as a kid and it was always very frustrating for me.
Mm.
But like as a kid, I could flip through a comic book and basically understand what was going on just because there's pictures depicting most of the
Mhm.
text, right? They're kind of like explaining a little bit through visuals. And then, I was always just like copying those. We had a bunch of Peanuts comics, which by the way, I know Peanuts is like kind of considered that whole like happiness is a warm puppy, like Hallmark card things. If you actually read some of the
Mhm.
Peanuts comics, they are so dark.
Yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
the
Right.
dealing with depression and I d- I have recently come to really, really love Peanuts, and I'm slowly
Oh,
going
yeah.
through and trying to collect like all of the Peanuts books because
Yep.
they are so much smarter than I feel like people think they are because
Yeah.
there's so much merch. And so people
Mhm.
think like, oh, Woodstock, Snoopy, it's cute, put it on a birthday cake. It's like
Right.
there's some really, I mean, the very first Peanuts comic is Here Comes Old Charlie Brown, How I Hate Him. Like
Yep.
that's the first Peanuts comic.
Yep.
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 So yeah, so Calvin and Hobbes, Peanuts. We had a bunch of old Wizard of Id comic books and
Yeah.
BC.
Yeah.
Bloom County was a big one
Yep.
that I really
Mhm.
loved. And it was just I love drawing, got into copying a lot of the comic characters, creating my own comics, and then I didn't start my web comic until a couple years into us doing the band.
Mhm.
And it's really
Mhm.
kind of it didn't start this way on purpose, but it became my microphone. Whereas like when we're on stage,
Mm.
Eric's the one with the microphone and I don't have a mic
Yeah.
and I've typically got my back to the audience and I'm doing my painting and people don't usually hear my voice.
Mhm.
And then doing the comic
Sure.
was like being able to tell the entire story from my perspective a little bit more. And it's like it's
Mm.
exaggerated and kind of wonky and stuff, but it's like more of what's going on in my head and just a fun way for me to communicate my perspective on things.
I would say that's fantastic. I was a big Calvin and Hobbes. Like I
Mhm.
own
Yep.
the full collection that was compiled. I own
Hmm.
the individual books. I own
Mhm.
like I don't know. I went on eBay back in the day and bought like the British things that were not
Oh, fun.
available. Like I loved Calvin Hobbes. People would be like, "What's your favorite author?" And I would say Bill Watterson. Like
Yeah.
Mm.
I have a printout of Bill Watterson's like commencement speech at Kenyon College. Like
Cool.
all kinds of things. I adore like Bill
Yeah.
Watterson.
Did you,
And
any
then
chance you were able to see his the art shows that were happening recently?
I've seen stuff online, but like
Okay.
nothing in person
Yeah.
myself.
What
And
if
then
where are you located?
I'm in Virginia right now, but I've been
Okay.
in North Carolina for a long time. And his so yeah,
Okay. Because I was gonna say he's got a collection of originals in Columbus, Ohio, at the
right.
Billy Ireland cartoon
Hmm.
school or something like that. So we stopped by on tour once and we saw those, and it was
Oh, cool.
moving. It was moving to see like the whiteout and the pencil lines and the ink strokes like right there. Like that was really cool. And then they did another show in upstate New York, and we were actually able to see that in this past Thanksgiving. We were
Oh,
like
cool.
visiting family. We were able to see that.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I love Bill Waters and like his Kenyon College commencement address. I work with college students, so I
Okay.
particularly like that. Um, but he talks about pursuing kind of your interest and everything in there, and not so much about just making a living for money. It's,
Mm-hmm.
connecting to something else. And he tells a story of his college experience in his dorm. He recreated the Sistine Chapel in his
Hmm.
dorm room, like ceiling,
Oh, wow.
like painting from his loft bed or whatever, knowing that when he moved out, he was gonna have to paint over it. Like it
Yeah.
was just an exercise and expression that he did. Anyway, like the speech is online. Everyone should read
That's
it, as far
cool.
as I'm
Yeah, I haven't
concerned.
read it. I'll check it
Oh, it's
out.
the most inspiring thing. And
Sweet.
I'm no artist, like n not anywhere close. And I love that speech. But I feel like comics was a big part of my upbringing because we had the Saturday, we had the daily paper and then there was the Sunday comics.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
And so Calvin and Hobbes was the most important one to me, but I also have books of the Far Side
Mm.
and I would read, Family Circus and the Peanuts and all the different things and the like everybody got the comics when you were a kid, I feel like was
Yep.
Hmm.
normal
Yep.
for our age. And I don't know what that version of that is today, because I'm
Hmm.
not a kid, but my youngest daughter loves graphic novels, which have never been a thing for me. Like I don't it's not my thing. But she's super creative and likes to make things. And I find it so interesting that that's what she likes to read is graphic novels. And so I'm a real appreciator of people who are still making different kind of comic or graphic novel, like that art form and keeping it alive because I feel like for our age, that was a paper, like a newspaper thing.
Mhm.
And then
Yeah.
there was a collection you could buy at a book for the most successful version of whatever that is. But I work at Virginia Tech now, and what I really have appreciated since I got here is there's on their website a daily doodle, which is essentially a
Mm.
comic. It's I assume somebody who works here. I don't know anything about it. I just discovered it and I bookmarked it on like my startup pages on Google Chrome. Like when I open my browser in the morning when I go to work, the daily doodle's there, and I just like to see that. And I don't think of myself as particularly creative or artistic or any of those, but I see it through my daughter
Mm.
who
Mm.
has an appreciation. So I'm excited to hear like you are making a web comic, which I assume is the way people are consuming it now, that
Yeah, I think
aren't
so.
holding a paper in their hand the
Hmm.
way we did as we were kids. So I find it exciting.
Yeah, I have a strong appreciation for the newspaper comic too. Where I grew up, is a weird situation. We didn't have a newspaper, but my grandmother would literally save the comic pages and
Amazing.
send them to me in
Yeah.
a box, like so we get like a
Yeah.
box full of just newspapers and it was all the comics and I loved that. And then I mean Pete, you remember I
I,
did the drawing
I
board. So
do.
our college had like a probably like a folded page. So it was 4 pages
Hmm.
of comics that like students would draw, like write and
Yep.
draw.
Yep.
And so I was a part of that for a couple of years, which was
Nice.
I
very
still have
fun.
many copies of that somewhere
Yeah.
in my house. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was a fun thing to be a part of. And yeah, I don't know, just like that appreciation for the daily comps. Even like when I first started at college, like I was feeling lonely. And one thing that I would do when I felt lonely was I would go to, I think it was just comics.com.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I would just like, I wasn't
Yeah.
getting the newspaper and I would just like scroll through like, oh, what's, the whatever comic I was reading at the time, what's theirs for the past week. And I could just scroll through those for free, which was really nice. And it was just a little like way to feel like I was home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that's a great thing too. Like my grandmother would cut out comics for me and send them to me at college
Hmm.
when I was at college. So, like she knew that I didn't pick up the paper
Mhm.
out there, and she would just send me like an envelope full of comics because she knew that's what I loved. So
Hmm.
so that's really cool to think that our grandmothers are kind of doing that same thing. It's like them looking at you and going, all right, what can I send them?
Yeah,
It's pretty
how can
cool.
I connect with this kid?
Yeah, and it really did. I still have a shoebox or whatever I kept it in now, full of those from my grandmother because it just
Oh,
was
that's
that
sweet.
that connection. Yeah.
Hmm. And then for graphic novels right now, I feel like the graphic novel world has really expanded in
Mm,
just the past
Mhm.
10, 20 years. So I grew up in Canada and we got a lot of French comics. So like European graphic novels are huge and they always have been.
okay.
And then it's only been in like maybe the last, yeah, 10 or 20 years where I feel like they've gotten a lot bigger here in the States. Um, and especially being okay with graphic novels being read by adults. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
I still encounter a lot of people just being like, "Oh, you wrote a graphic novel, great. I'll give this to my 7-year-old," which is
Yeah.
fine. Like, your 7-year-old can read it. It's not made for 7-year-olds, but safe language for the most part.
Right.
Um, and just people not thinking like I remember we did a book event at a bookstore and Eric's family came to it and his cousin told her kid like, "Oh, you're a little old for this now. Like you're a little old to be reading comics. I want you reading like real books."
Ooh.
Right? But she allowed him to get my book, right, as an exception because I was family. And he stayed up all night. He read the entire thing. He was like
Okay.
15 years old and he was just
Yeah.
like, and he started it immediately again, like the next morning and was just so excited to like chat with me all day about like what we did in the book and like how we experienced stuff and she like ended up kind of just being like okay comics can be literature just from that experience which was nice but I think
Yeah.
that's pretty common for a lot of parents to just be like well that's for when you're younger you look at the picture books and then when you get older you read the novels or whatever.
Well, I think that was my youngest. She's 10. She's almost 11 and wasn't a big reader necessarily. And
Hmm.
I was as a kid. So it was like, I want my kids to read because I love to read books when I was their age, but she wasn't. And
Hmm.
it just not a big deal to her. But then she connected with graphic novels.
Yeah,
And for me, that was so exciting of like, oh, she's found her thing.
that's
That makes
awesome.
her excited to like, go into her room, curl up, and not want to look
Hmm.
at a screen because
Hmm.
that's where we are now. It's like if
Well, yeah,
she'll,
that's a big problem. Yeah, just trying to get kids
yeah,
away from the screens and trying to get me away from the screens even. Like it's
100%.
Yeah.
they're addictive and it's not healthy. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's what kind of off the top of your head any of the graphic novels that she reads?
I don't know
Okay,
off the
that's
top of
fine.
my head. I mean, they're definitely geared towards
Yeah,
elementary school
I
children,
probably
and
know
their
a lot of them and
series, you
feel
probably better than I do. We would go to the library and she would pick them out, and I'm like, oh, that's great. And then if it was a graphic novel, she'd like just rip through them
Hmm.
Awesome.
and go so fast. And she also will read books now, but like the graphic novels was the first kind of exciting thing for her
That's
that
great.
she would choose to do over a screen,
Hmm.
So which I have, I don't think I've ever read a graphic novel. To be honest, like
Mm.
myself, it's not something that I like comics, but not graphic novels. And it was cool to see that in her of like, okay, I can
Yeah.
appreciate what you like that I don't know. I don't necessarily connect with. You don't have to be like me when I was a kid a long time ago. But I do want you to invest in stories and
Mm.
not screens
Mhm.
and kind of immerse yourself in that. So I appreciate it for that.
Yeah, that's great.
To bring it back to when you were talking about, kind of the daily panels, kind of speaking in your own voice.
Mm.
It was cool for me, because I know Eric, as the voice of quote unquote of Pocket Vinyl, because
Mhm.
he's got the microphone in front of him. But to
Yeah.
like read that book and go, oh wait, this is like I could definitely see, your voice in this. And it was very cool for me because I have your other, the winter season winter
Winter Person
thank
book.
you, Winter
Yeah.
Person book, and I have the other ones you put out, but like this is the one I actually like sat down with and have been because I was intrigued by your 50 states and 50 that fastest to 50. I was intrigued by that whole story, so I read it from cover to cover because I was already in before you wrote this. And but to see like from your voice, you're right when you said your voice through your through the panels, it's totally true. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, yeah, because like I pick up on different things when we're playing shows than Eric
Yeah,
does. And like sometimes we get back into the car and I'm just like, wow, did you notice this? Did you hear that? And Eric is like, I was in a completely different space.
right.
I had no idea. And so yeah, it's just kind of fun to like have another perspective on the band.
Yeah, and that's cool. So
Mhm.
I'm really intrigued. I at least once a week I'll catch up on touring test stuff, and it's just fun to see it through your eyes. So thank you for that
Well, thank you. I'm glad that you enjoy reading it.
for sure. I do want to show you though. I brought this out. I know I brought it out last time Eric was here, but I have.
Oh wow. What's the date on that?
So this is from the News Cafe
Yeah.
in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. It's 10/21/2011.
Whoa.
So October 21st, 2011. Uh,
That's wild.
yeah.
That's like right
So
after we started full time.
that's right.
That's amazing.
We all hung. Yeah. So I got to see at that little dumpy bar, but it was a lot of
Yeah.
fun. So for me as a fan for a long time of you guys as humans and also as a band, it's been fun to see you progress. Over those 15 years now. That's but
Yeah.
even more than that. But 15 years as a band.
Yeah. Yeah, because we got married that year too, and we were just talking about
Yep.
we're celebrating our anniversary, our 15th anniversary. We always, did he tell you what we do to celebrate?
No, please tell us.
We always get a bottle of scotch of the same year.
Oh yes.
And so there's a lot
Nice.
of 15s, so we'll have to pick something good for the 15th.
Oh, that's gonna be
Once
fun.
it gets up there, we're gonna have to start doing like, oh, we'll get like maybe a 10 and a 3 or not a 10, but like a 10 and a 6 or
Right.
something like that. Yeah.
Start a Patreon just for the scotch. Right.
Yeah.
What was last year? Do you remember?
I think we probably did a Belvini last year.
Okay.
Yeah, which is we really like the band Frightened Rabbit from
Mhm.
Hmm.
Scotland. And
Yeah.
in an interview with Pete Hutchinson, Scott Hutchison.
Yep.
I mix your guys' names
Nope.
up all the time. With in the
Well, I'm
interview with
honored. Thank
Scott,
you. Yeah.
he said that that was one of his favorite distilleries, and so
Oh, cool.
we'll gravitate towards that one if it allows. Yeah.
Sure.
Total side note, but I'm intrigued by the covers project. All right.
Yeah.
And then making the album covers for the covers project. Did you do it knowing from the original album, or did you do it after you heard what Eric had done?
They were always done after he had done the music.
Okay.
Or like when he was like he'd finished the actual recording, I was maybe doing the mixing and stuff. So I'd gotten a chance to kind of hear some of the mixes before
Okay.
and working on the album. And then it was always just like, how can we interpret? And we try to do, yeah, I think we did something different for each one. So the first one was just basic, the white album, pocket vinyl,
Right.
very basic. We literally used our vinyl of the white album, took a photo of it, erased their name, and put our name on it. That's as simple as that.
Yeah.
And then the Dolly Parton one we wanted is a photo, and we're just like, how can we just make this kind of silly? And I had the cat on the head for like her
So
giant
cool.
wig and
Yep.
stuff. And then let's see, we did the watercolor painting for In the Aeroplane Over the Sea, the Neutral Milk Hotel one, and that one was fun because I actually did a ton of research on, so those were old postcards from Germany, right? And just searching out like that old postcard style and then thinking like it was right around when, we were doing a lot of Pilgrim comics and stuff, and we're like, well, we're doing
Oh, wow.
cats, and I kind of fit Pilgrim in the corner there, but then doing a lot of research of like looking up like there's a lot of old-timey cat postcards where they're like kind of in human positions. And so
Yeah.
putting that together for those. And just,
Oh my
yeah, a
gosh.
lot of it was just trying to mimic the styles. And then the last one, the Postal Service one, for Eric's birthday, the Taskmaster birthday, I got him a Polaroid camera. And
Right.
so he just looked in our bedroom and he's like, our bedroom looks exactly like the cover of their album. So he just took a Polaroid for that.
Oh my gosh. I'm looking through these right now because I didn't catch the Pilgrim in the
Yeah.
Neutral
Yeah,
Milk
because there's
Hotel.
just a little, I forget what it is in the corner, maybe like a ship or something in the corner. And I was just like, I could just fit, like, there's something supposed to go in that little corner. So I could just kind of fit her in there. And she hadn't moved in yet. And it
Oh,
was
that's
still just
wild.
like, is she our cat?
Yeah.
Is she not our cat? She's a feral cat. She's not really part of the family yet. I could just kind of squeeze her in there.
Oh, that's absolutely wild. Yeah, that gains a new appreciation. I mean, I've listened to all of them, but like the covers always, cover art always intrigues me, and what goes into the cover art.
Yeah.
So that's very cool.
Yeah, it was fun to just approach each one from a completely different like point of view of just like how can we deal with it. It's the same way that he approached each cover album musically. Or
Okay.
like how can I take this, get inspired by it, and then make it my own without them all sounding the same, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, as someone married to an artist, I appreciate the what goes behind that. So
Mhm.
just it's cool to talk to you about like kind of what went into each of those covers because I know that definitely your wheelhouse for sure.
Mhm.
And the Rabbit on Fire, that was the book, right? That was the book that was like,
Yeah, so that one we were doing a book tour for the graphic novel. And so
mhm,
we're playing a lot of shows in bookstores and libraries and stuff like that. And we played in this little bookstore in Rochester.
okay,
I don't remember what the bookstore itself was called, but it was just like all really old books, right?
okay,
And I had this image in my mind. I was like, I would love to find just like a blue small hardcover. And I had the idea of just like the rabbit kind of painted onto the cover. And I remember before the show, we just kind of like walked the stacks and I found it for like $3 or whatever. And I was like,
oh
this is
yeah,
this is it. This is the cover. And I actually ended up there was like some weird stains or something on the front. So the whole thing is actually upside down and backwards. But
yeah,
the back didn't have anything on it, so it didn't really matter. And then I painted right on the book, and then we tore out a few of the, like the end pages at a book where there's just like a
mhm,
blank page.
yep,
Yep.
We tore out those and we printed using like a typewriter font, we printed the lyrics of Rabbit on Fire like songs onto
yeah,
those blank pages. And then I used those images as the center of the vinyl for the vinyl records. So it's
oh
like
that's sick.
the pages from within the book are on the vinyl record too.
Yeah, that's really cool. Yeah, I love the what you guys put into your vinyl, what you guys put into especially the vinyl because it's that like we talked about with the book, like we talked about with everything, it's that tangible
Yeah.
what you hold. Like I love the DIY ness of it all. That you put the meticulous care you put into it.
Mhm.
So that's really
Well,
cool.
yeah, we try to create stuff that we want, you
Yeah,
know? It's just like I want a band that puts like this much work into like their cover and thinking about like the art of the thing and like having the art as a good size like that. And that's the same reason that we want to make this Pilgrim book. Like
yeah,
I want a book of the Pilgrim story and I want to like have a nice cover for the book and I have like nice pages for this and like the whole thing and being able to like have the input on every single part of that. I love that.
that's very cool.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you think you might add on as like a stretch goal?
I've been looking at we're looking at this one print company that some other comic artists have recommended to use for the actual printing.
Mhm.
And there's a lot of ways to just make the book nicer. Like you could like kind of more wrap around cover things. You can do
Yeah.
like flaps. You could do like the gloss or the embossing and like stuff like that. So I'm thinking of stuff like that. We debated about doing a hardcover stretch goal. The
Mm-hmm.
only problem with that is we'd have to go through a different print company and the price point would be so much different than a
Right.
paperback,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so we decided we're not going to do that right now, but we might do it. We might offer that in the future as
Cool.
an option if people want. But that was, I mean, that was a couple of days of hemming and hawing of just being like, oh, hardcover would be so nice, but
Mm.
it'd just be easier
Yeah.
right now, especially with shipping stuff. It would keep the shipping lower as well if we didn't do the hardcover.
For
Right.
sure.
Yeah. So stuff like that.
Nice.
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, I mean, we're excited about this. This is gonna be a lot of fun, and I hope
Mhm.
by the time that the listeners at home and all your fans, all our fans, everybody that might find this listens, I hope it's like fully funded and we're on like stretch goal 4 or
Yeah, that'd be
5 or
awesome.
Yeah.
whatever. I'm hoping that you have to make more stretch goals because it's taken off. So I so appreciate you come on to chat.
Definitely.
You know how much of a fan I am of you guys, so this is very cool to talk to you tonight.
Well, thank you so much. And thanks for having us on. We really appreciate just being able to get the word out a little bit more about our projects. And yeah, it's fun to chat with people who are excited about what we're doing and who
Yeah,
we like talking with as well.
cool,
Yeah.
cool. Are you doing more planetarium shows?
We typically do one about once a year. And so
Okay,
we
cool.
we just did one. And so we'll probably plan another one for the next a year or maybe a few months from now. But yeah,
That's
yeah.
fine. As long as I can
Nice.
get to one, because I was so
Yeah.
bummed when I got called into work, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's right.
I know, and I was hoping to get to the most recent one, but
Yep.
my son had an appointment in Boston that was at like 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm like, "There's no way I can get from
Yeah.
We'll
from
make it happen.
Boston." Yeah,
Oh man, well, thank you for coming on, and we're stoked. On Kickstarter, we'll post all the links once it's all set,
Yeah.
and we'll definitely keep pushing for it. So
Yeah,
I'm
awesome.
stoked for this.
That's great. Thank you so much, guys, for
Definitely.
having us on. Really
Thank you,
appreciate
Thank
it.
Elizabeth.
you.
Oh, and that is the news from Lake Scabagon, where all of the graphic novels are stunning. All of the pocket vinyl releases are good looking. And all of the Kickstarters are above average. Go back this project if you haven't already. Oh my gosh, I'm stoked. You should be too. Onward, Pickle Soldiers.
That's a perfect podcast.
Yes, we did it.
We did it.
Wrapped in a bow. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Elizabeth, you're the best. Thank you for coming on.
Nice to
Yeah,
meet
of
you.
thanks so
course.
much.
Thanks so much, guys. Have a good night.
All right.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
You.
Bye.
Bye.
On your skin is a crease from crumpled sheets that have all become routine, like every curve within your own. Like a tired hound, you're laying down in the kitchen on the ground, wondering how you missed this angle every day before this.
Hey, happy second
Hey.
part Sunday.
There you go. Thanks, Pete.
Hey, you're welcome. No problem. Oh,
Did Eric mention to you yet? We just did this thing today where we're having some comic artists who are going to cover Pilgrim comics. Did he talk about that?
Oh, cool.
Yeah, we
All right.
got
Time back in.
we got 5 people so far, 5 different comic artists who said that they're going to do this, and we're reaching out to a couple other ones, so maybe we'll get some more. But so for some of the dates, we'll have a different comic artist who will take a existing Pilgrim comic and redraw the entire thing in their style and share it. So I'm really excited about that.
Oh,
And for
that's-
me, as
oh,
like
that's
a
cool.
fan
Oh, yeah.
of comics and art, I'm just so excited to see this.
That's cool.
Oh, that's wild.
Seeing the whole wide world through a camera. Seeing the whole wide world through a pinprick hole in a piece of paper. Seeing the whole wide world.
You're listening to the Geekscape Network.